There's been a lot of talk about inflation, recessions, and everything in between. And while we continue to face surging prices not only in gas, but in food, the question remains, what is the most recession-proof diet? Welcome back to the channel where we break down complex science and health information so you don't have to. If that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you know someone who might consider this valuable, please go ahead and share it with them. Today, we're talking about what is the most economical way of eating during these trying times. Most people are not only trying to find the best ways to lose the extra 20 pounds that they put on during COVID, but also the most economical way to do so. If we take a look at the consumer price index for all foods, prices were 9.4% higher today than in April 2021. At first, the estimated increase in things like meat, poultry, and fish, which is about 7.5%, seems quite alarming, especially for those of us that are eating keto, which tends to involve these items. Throw in the fact that there was a recent outbreak of the avian influenza that reduced the U.S. egg supply and drove an increase in egg prices above 10%, and you might think we are doomed in the keto space, but not so fast. Other areas that are getting highly impacted are things like fresh fruits with an increase of 8 to 9%, and cereal and bakery products, which is about 7 to 8% increase. So one could argue that if you look at the foods commonly consumed on a ketogenic diet, you could say that we're looking at about 3 to 4% higher prices, which would make someone think that a low fat, a low protein, plant-based approach is probably the most recession-proof diet. Besides the fact that a low protein, plant-based diet would be detrimental to your muscle, brain, and overall health, we are forgetting one very important point. When we diet, weight loss is usually followed by a simultaneous increase in something known as ghrelin, which increases our feelings of hunger, which may compromise weight loss goals and increase the risk of weight regain. Think about that. As you're trying to lose that extra body fat through dieting, your body starts to upregulate hormones that lead you to be hungrier. It's a perfect storm. One of the many benefits of ketosis is that a ketogenic diet has been shown to prevent this increase in ghrelin secretion, which otherwise is seen with weight loss, and it reduces hunger and or prevents hunger. Therefore, we need to account for the natural decrease in food consumption of individuals who are on a ketogenic diet compared to those who aren't, to properly factor this into the equation. So let's look at the studies. There was a study done in 1974 where they put women on a restricted carbohydrate diet, but they let them eat as much protein and fat as they wanted. And guess what they found? Calorie consumption decreased by 30%. This was confirmed in another study several years later in 2006 where they fed subjects ad libitum, or as much as they wanted, but they just had to keep carbs under 10%. Naturally, these individuals lowered their caloric intake by 30.5%, which was about 720 calories a day. And study after study after study shows this practically in multiple different subject populations, as well as mechanistically how this is going on. So if we're going to factor in the general reduced caloric consumption on a well-formulated ketogenic diet, there is zero doubt that a keto diet is the most recession-proof way of eating. By eating 30% less, you are negating the negligible 3 to 4% increase in the food items commonly consumed on a ketogenic diet.